So things are not looking good for Subnautica fans out there because apparently the sequel, Subnautica 2, is showcasing all the signs, man. What do you even say when you see a glorious smile like this? Wow, I mean, it's just insane. We got an article here from Smash JT with a headline that reads, Subnautica 2 exposes unknown world's insidious DEI agenda. Now, if you guys are unaware, Unknown Worlds is the studio that has made this particular game, Subnautica 2, the developers, and they seem to have gone completely down the rabbit hole of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, just because you see a black female, just because you see a female in general, just because you see gay, whatever, doesn't necessarily mean woke. Let's just put that out there. However, when you start combining certain things and certain factors and patterns that people have noticed, especially when you combine it with certain comments that the developers themselves have said, then you start, getting down the woke line where you start saying, gee, is this going to be one of those projects again? Or is it going to be something that can actually be good if the story was the focus? Which, again, I highly doubt that. So let's get into the article, guys, from Smash JT. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says the studio Unknown Worlds, developers behind the beloved underwater survival game Subnautica, have recently revealed that the next project, Subnautica 2, and by the initial reaction on social media, oh boy, we are certainly in for something all right. Now, it says here she's got the look, and yes, I know, I get it. She's got the look, I understand. He's got the look. They all got the look, right? The very, very, very typical look of, we're going to throw in the modernity fade in there, right? Like, we're going to throw in the typical Miles Morales Killmonger haircut. This is what we're going to throw in because we clearly care about diversity and we only want to showcase one particular hairstyle and one particular look, but, that's neither here nor there. While many fans were initially excited to find out info on the follow-up, a closer look at the character design has raised eyebrows and widened chins. The characters presented in the trailer all appear to be androgynous, stripped of distinct gender features, raising those all too familiar questions about the developers' priorities. As I discovered in my research on this one, this DEI agenda goes far deeper than any ocean. Now, guys, these characters have become a hallmark of certain studios that like to push an agenda and swear that they don't, right? Because there'll be people out there that try to downplay the argument and the nuance of the conversation, and they'll try to downplay it to something simplistic because that way they can put you in a box. They'll say, well, you just don't like blacks, you just don't like women, you just don't like people of color. And again, I don't know how many times I have to reiterate to all these white liberals that try to speak for all POCs, you don't speak for me, okay? As much as I hate the term POC, under your definition, I am one. You do not speak for me, and the crazy thing is, after you inform this of this, they basically accuse you of wrong thing. They say, oh, you're a pick-me POC, and I'm like, oh, okay, so you're the white person who gets to decide what POC is allowed to be heard or not. I get it. That's totally not white supremacy, but that's besides the point. Diving deeper, sorry, had to say it, into the studio behind the game, it becomes clear that Unknown Worlds has fully embraced diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, pushing them above all else, including what looks to be the actual gameplay experience. Why? Now, guys, we all know why, okay? We all know why. Chances are this studio got an opportunity after their first game to try to bolster their income or their profits or whatever by succumbing to the ESG overlords and DEI initiatives that come with it. It's not too shocking, right? We see this happen so many times. Almost all studios eventually go down this route, especially if they start to get bigger and bigger as time goes on. Very few of them say fuck the DEI stuff, and the ones that do get shadow banned from the industry, and they only get supported by real people like us, normal people that, again, they don't need the support from the industry because we support them enough. Look at Space Marine 2, for example, massive success. They don't need the modern audience. They don't need the industry for that kind of support. But still, it is amazing to me that these people are the ones that try to choose which POCs are allowed to be listened to and which aren't. And they all assume that everybody who disagrees with this entire nonsense is a white supremacist or a white person in general. It's ridiculous. So then let's talk about the actual studio and what they've been doing, because this is the part where it takes something that might look woke and guarantee it to be woke when the developers are pushing certain things that are just ridiculous. The notion of unite the world through a globally represented team sounds great on paper, but in practice, it's this kind of language that always a sign that the focus has shifted away from crafting excellent gameplay experiences and towards pushing DEI-driven messaging, with character designs in Subnautica 2 reflecting this bland, non-distinct diversity. It's clear that the developers are more interested in checking those diversity boxes than providing players with unique and engaging characters. Then it says in their Who We Are section, the studio reinforces this DEI push by proudly highlighting their diverse team. It says, "We strive to create exclusive experiences through diverse representations of characters, cultures, environments, and more." You know what's incredible to me? Why is it that the people who are claiming diversity are the ones who all look the same? Why is that, right? Like the studios that are claiming to make the most diverse and most representative characters ever seen on screen are the ones that all make the same exact prototypical cookie cutter black character or Spanish character. Like, why is that? Or Indian character. Why is that? Why is that? Why does almost every black person sound like they're from Wakanda? Why does almost every Indian character sound like they're a scam caller? Why is this? I do not understand. And then when you look at them physically, you're going to realize that every single black character, if they're a male, they have the Miles Morales haircut, right? If they're a female, they got the pretty, the what do you call it? The natural hair, the fro, right? It's all out usually. Or they have it braided or whatever. Why is it that it's constantly the same exact thing? And it's because the people who are making these games don't actually care about the true diversity of the people they're trying to represent. All they care about is the perception of virtue and what speaking to these forefronts have to do with their actual image as a company. That's all they care about. So if they can put this out there, and it's the same thing that everybody else has put out there, then it doesn't matter, because according to all their white liberal friends and co-workers, they did the right thing. Congratulations, right? Then it says that at Unknown Worlds, we pride ourselves on being a globally based represented team. As such, we are committed to diversity as one of our core values. However, we also have the responsibility to ensure that our values translate into concrete actions. What games make, how we make them, and how we hire our people. We pledge to carry out this effort in earnest with an open mind and with the intention to improve this industry for everyone. We're dedicated to working towards the goal that in many ways and improve some things we're already doing. We believe this is long overdue and would ultimately broaden the perspective and creativity of our games. We understand that this means ongoing commitment, education, discussion, and outside advice where necessary. So they tell you everything in that last statement, right? Commitment, which is we're going to keep doubling down no matter how much money we lose. Education, how much indoctrination we can do of our employees with mentorship programs that are specifically targeted at people of color. That way we can grow them in our company and make them into good little robots, which is exactly what we want. Discussion, that's something they never have. When they say discussion, they only mean amongst people who agree with them or who are on Blue Sky, right? Because on Twitter, they got to see people that disagree with them now since Elon Musk bought it. And then the final part, which everybody should know what that means, outside advice where necessary, we are going to be introducing DEI consultants. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. That's exactly what that last little part means. I wonder which DEI consultancy firm is going to be hired by this company. SBI, I'm looking at you. But still, it's very easy to read what they're trying to tell you just by reading the words, man, because they can try to speak vaguely all they want. They can try to make it seem like the most virtuous statement in the world. But let's not pretend like this shit hasn't been happening for a long time. They're trying to say, oh, it's overdue. It's long overdue for the industry. Where have you been, Subnautica? Where the hell have you been with all the nonsense that's been happening lately? You just missed the DEI train by like 5+ years. Where have you been? So again, guys, it's another example of what happens when they decide to get woke. Hopefully they don't go broke from this. I don't know how the first Subnautica did. I'm sure it did pretty well, considering that I know a lot of people were playing it when it first released, but I don't know the concurrent numbers or anything like that, but hopefully it did fairly well. This particular game, though, it might start be looking, a little bit sus. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it if you could like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.